Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. This video was not for the faint of heart. If you are a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu person, I am surely going to piss you off. So let me apologize to you now. This is kind of a sorry, not sorry. I took Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the Army and I sucked at it. Alright? So I'm not really shitting on it, but I'm going to shit on it. Alright? Hands up again. If you don't like what I have to say, this video is not for you. Alright? I'm going to play as nice as possible, but I want you guys to understand, if you haven't done what I told you to do, then you can't contradict the shit that I'm about to say. Alright? If you haven't gone and watched a BJJ video, and watched what I said about how people don't protect themselves when they're on their back because they're panicking about getting put in an arm bar, they're panicking about getting tapped out, they're panicking about a toe hold, they're panicking about a lot of shit, but they're not fighting back. And maybe it's the street fighter in me, maybe it's the Kung Fu master, maybe it's the Taekwondo guy, maybe it's the Naharte, maybe it's the Jiu-Jitsu that I learned before Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ever fucking existed. You know, back in the 80s, before the Gracies turned Jiu-Jitsu into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, when Jiu-Jitsu actually had a fucking stand-up game. That's right, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came from Jiu-Jitsu, and regular Jiu-Jitsu had a fucking stand-up game. Just like Judo also has a stand-up game, and people are sleeping on Judo, just like they sleep on Taekwondo, and they sleep on everything. So, in the Army, when I was in Bravo, we did Taekwondo. Alright? And our Taekwondo instructor was Amaret with some cat named Lawson. Mostly because they had the same name. Thank you, First Sergeant Lawson, for doing the Taekwondo stuff. And thank you to all military services. Alright? And you guys make sure you salute your soldiers. Because without them, you don't sleep well at night. When I got to Delta, we started learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. First thing I learned was sprawling. It's not going to work. Alright? It will work for some people, especially like if Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the only martial art that you've learned from the beginning of your martial art life until your current martial art life, then you have mastered sprawling. You know. Alright. But sprawling works for you as well as it works against you. Alright? Instincts are a thing, and you should probably learn how to let them do their thing. Alright? Now, as I said, when I was in fucking Delta and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, up until we did like the pugils, I was just getting my ass handed to me because they always set me up with the guy who was taller. And I could not roll him. You know, here's your C-clamp. So it's like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. So your C-clamp, and then your arm goes, this arm goes across his two arms, is holding your lapel. So you're like this. And now, without using my hips, I have to roll this guy that way. Or I have to roll this guy that way. Now, I don't know what they teach you in the civilian world, but they generally hire civilian martial artists to teach soldiers. Alright? So, being that I totally suck at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I was getting my ass handed to me until we picked up the pugil sticks, which was the giant Q-tips. Alright? So, I could roll a giant Q-tip. You know, I could swing that some bitch like a bow staff, and up until Fagan hit me in the stick and hit me in my testicles, I was fucking people up. Hell Delta, and Drill Sergeant Aztec Warrior, Drill Sergeant Amber, and Drill Sergeant Hayes. Thank you guys for teaching me, and thank you guys for keeping me, and thank you guys for making me have some place to go. I love you guys. I love Delta more than I love Bravo. I had some issues with Bravo. I had some issues with Golf, but Delta was home. Alright, so when I say I was a part of Delta Force, I literally was a part of Delta. Anyway, moving on. I got in a couple of heated discussions with drill sergeants because I couldn't do it their way. But they wouldn't let me do it my way. And I cheated a lot. Because the guy was 6 foot and some change. I headbutted him in the nuts every fucking time. Because we'd be holding, as soon as the drill sergeant is over on the other side of the gym, because martial art training in the Army at Fort Benning was called GFT. So, when they would be over there, GFT meant for me, beat this dude's ass the best way you can. And he was big, so I slid my hands under his hips and ran my head into his nuts. I gave him full-on head service. No homo. So, after that, you know, the drill sergeant was like, look, man, you gotta do this shit our way. And I was like, drill sergeant, I'm 130-something pounds. This dude's 300 pounds. I am not going to be able to flip him. Not from my back. Now, in judo's a different ball of wax when it comes to flipping people. You have 3 to 4 standard judo flips, alright? You have your base judo flip where someone's pushing you at the chest and you grab them and you turn and you twist and you flip. You have from behind the back, kick the instep and then judo throw. You have a running grab, push, and throw, which is basically the same thing as the first one. It's just that they're running at you, so you're going to grab by the belt and grab by the top of the gi, and you're just basically going to throw them like a wrestler. And then you have the other shit that leads into a lock that Asuka does. So, you know, you can, like, jump up and wrap your arm and stuff, because judo does have locks, i.e., where the fuck you think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu got their holes from. Okay, so, that judo, I can do. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I cannot. That Jiu-Jitsu, I can do, because it's got a stand-up game. But that shit where, you know, you're sprawling and on your belly and you got to take them to the ground and all that shit, I can't do that. That's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I can't do that shit. I fucking suck at it. So now that we got all that shit out of the way of my fails, now let me explain to you why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is only going to work in the dojo. This is the part where if you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fan, you hit the stop button. Or you give me the finger and you roll out. Alright? Because a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys are not going to like what I got to say. But I'm not going to lie to you about that shit, because I'm not going to fight like everybody else. Even if I've studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I know that I suck at it. It's still in my arsenal. But I'm not going to use that shit unless I'm unfortunately enough to be on my back. And your job again tonight is to go watch Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and watch when people put them in that arm bar, how quickly they lock it up instead of trying to roll with the guy. Because if you roll over in that direction, your forearm is right there. Drop dead weight on that shit. Yeah, he's got you, but you've got him. Drop dead weight on that shit. And try to put your elbow inside of his inner thigh. Try to do something like that versus, oh no, 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 no. No, because you're just fucking yourself. Because you're worried about that. If he's got side mount, where his body's laid across you and he's trying to get that arm bar, you have knees. You're on your back. Why are you not using them? You understand where I'm going? Which again is why that shit's not going to work on the streets. Because you got to get me on the ground. For Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to work, you have to get me on the ground. And not all fights go to the ground. No matter what anybody tells you, all fights do not go to the ground. If you're fighting somebody who's a striker and a counter striker, it's not going to the ground. You might go to the ground when they put your ass to sleep, but the fight itself might not go to the ground. You might come in, boom, boom, you know, jab your shit, bam, bam, you know, or boom, boom, you know, they're going to get in there. If you try to sprawl, as I said again, or a single leg or double leg takedown, and especially at me, and I see you coming in, boom, you're getting a fucking knee to the face. I'm sorry, it might be illegal in the UFC, but you're getting a fucking knee to the face. If I can't stop you, and you sprawl and you spear me or whatever, like wrestler, if you Roman Reigns the shit out of me, bam, I'm elbowing you in the fucking spine. Because I'm fighting for real. I'm not fighting for sport. I'm not fighting to get a belt. I'm not fighting for anything other than my fucking survival. So when you're coming in to spear me, you're going to catch a knee, or you're going to catch an elbow. You're going to catch the knee to the face, the chin, the throat, if I'm really lucky. But you're definitely going to catch that elbow to the spine if I can't stop you from taking me down. And if I'm really lucky, I'm going to clap. And when I clap, both of these knees are going into your guts, and both of these elbows are going into your spine. They're either going to go into your shoulder blades, or they're going to go deadly into your spine. And the reason for this is I'm going to be out of breath when you hit me with your shoulder into my stomach. But I'm going to make sure that your ass is out of breath too, because I'm going to collapse on you with both my elbows and my knees. That way when it hits you in the area of breath, you're going to be fucked up too. Now whichever one else recovers faster is probably going to win the fight. I only got hit in one spot, you getting hit in 4. It's a pretty good chance that unless you're made out of metal, then I'm going to win that one. But like I said, when you sprawl, if you sprawl to come at me, and you sprawl, it's not going to be that difficult to eat a knee. It's really not. Go and watch these Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys and see what I'm talking about. Watch how they sprawl, and then put yourself in there. Would a knee have been optional? Yes, it is. A knee is always optional. Why do you think people always use knees and elbows when you're training? Because they're options. They are part of your arsenal no matter what martial art you use, whether it's Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Jeet Kune Do, whatever. There is an elbow in every style of martial art, even the stick fighting. There is an elbow in it. There's an elbow, there's a knee. It's no longer just Thai fighting anymore. Understand that. Now Thai fighting emphasized forearms, elbow strikes, and knees. They brought that shit to the forefront. So people like me, and people like Bruce Lee, and people like you who are watching can say, you know what? I don't want to spend all day learning Muay Thai. But I can take some elements out of Muay Thai and put into the shit that I already know. Because Taekwondo really didn't teach me any knees. And it's probably because I couldn't get past the white belt status because I couldn't do katas. But I could fight. And I could beat people up. Because I was doing that before I learned martial arts. Fighting hurts when you get hit. Getting kneed in the face is not fun. Getting kneed in the stomach is not fun. But when you're coming at me and you're sprawling, boom! You're getting one in the chin. If you get past that, you're going to get an elbow. And the thing is, before anybody even saw shit like that, they would have never saw that shit if it wasn't for Thai fighting. If you were a Muay Thai expert, the real ones, not the American kickboxers, but straight Muay Thai, you know, your practice, you know, boom, 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 and part of your ceremony. So, I don't have all day to learn that. I learned enough of Thai fighting of what I can use and what I can't. So, forearms, elbows, knees, and some of their kicks. But if you can incorporate anything that you've learned into your stand-up game from a stand-up martial art, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is absolutely, positively not going to work for you. Alright? Because you have to get me on my back. And when you get me on my back, I'm still capable as long as this thing stays functioning. If I don't panic, your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu where you're on side mount and your body's across my body and you're working that arm, you're going to eat a knee right in one of these ribs. Because I'm already on my back and I'm in the fetal position. Or guard. My knees are up and they're shielding this from me. And you're on top of that, so your body's right here. Boom. Knee. I'm going to knee you until I can't. While you're focusing on trying to get my arm to make me tap, I'm going to put you in a position where you can have this arm. But you're going to eat every fucking knee that I have before you fucking make me tap. And you probably will make me tap if you're tough. But 9 times out of 10, 3 or 4 shots to the ribs is probably going to make you stop. Long before you get that damn arm out of this grasp. Think about that shit. Go watch some Muay Thai videos. Go watch some BJJ videos. And go watch how to use your knees very well in a martial art fight. And don't ask if you can Google that because I don't know. But go study some of this shit. And then get back with me and let me know if you think I'm wrong. We can debate that shit the next time I go on live. Have a great day, y'all. I got one last video about the current racist situation. So I don't want to do that on Instagram because I would prefer not to lose any followers on Instagram versus losing followers on YouTube. I'm used to people coming back and going from YouTube. I love everybody on Instagram and YouTube. But I'm doing better on Instagram. I kind of want to keep it that way. Thanks for watching. For Kung Fu Havoc number 2, BC and